Hi friend, it's so good to see you and welcome back to Dylan channel. Before we get started, I just please forgive my a little bit messy background. I am in the middle of organizing, arranging stuff around the house. This is my new apartment, so obviously there's a lot of arrangements need to be done. Um, so what I would like to share with you that I have one update, of course, that this is the very first week that of my doctoral journey. So after this week, so right now I just like really want to talk about like some reflection I have, some thoughts I have after the first week of being a PhD student. So I would say that there's are a lot of I am experiencing like mixed feelings right now. I am excited to start the program, and at the same time I feel nervous and worried about how the journey is gonna look like in the future in the next 3 years. So I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of concerns that I will definitely continue to address and talk with my advisor. I already met my advisor for the first time in this week as well. So we talk about a lot of things and all the projects that I will be in charge of. So I feel overwhelmed by the workload. I have 4 classes this semester. I also an RA research assistant for 20 hours per week, I would say, and I'm working with my advisor as well. So my advisor also the one who sponsored for my um, PhD for my study. Um, so we so after meeting with my advisor, I just realized that oh my god, this first semester is going to be pretty busy, and I that's actually contribute to my anxiety. I really want to know like if you have a similar experience when you first start your PhD program, how was your first week? How what kind of feelings you have during the very first week of your PhD program? And so I think that but the highlight of the week is when we discuss in one of my courses. There are time for our cohorts, like people, my peers, and including myself in that class, to discuss, to talk about how we identify ourselves as a professional. And especially as my program is counselor education. So the question is, how do I define myself as a counselor educator? And during that class, everyone shared their thoughts on how they find their identities. It stood out to me that everyone struggles to find their own identity, and there's are all like a lot of like different factors contribute to how they define themselves in a certain um, in a certain career or in a certain occupational path. So that made me think, and that's what I also want to like bring up, and maybe we can have a discussion over that. Like, how would you define yourself as a very beginning of the first semester of your PhD program? I am a very like a freshman, if like a freshman in a PhD world, and I have no idea how do I see myself in terms of a researcher, in terms of a counselor, and even in terms of educators. So there's a lot going on in my mind, like how can I define myself, and what would affect me what would affect how I view and perceive myself in a certain category. So how about you? Have you ever struggled with how do you define yourself in given the professional environments that you are in as a PhD student, do you see yourself as a researcher, a teacher, professor in the future? Or like, I'm just very curious about your experience when you learn, when you start to identify yourself, um, finding who you are, finding your uniqueness, um, when you are doing your PhD. That is very interesting to me as well. That's why I would like to learn more. And for me, I think right now, if you ask me who I am and how I define myself, I would say my name first, of course. Like, I am Lynn. I am a female, uh, international student, PhD, like post PhD student from Vietnam. So that's basically how I view myself currently. But I believe that as I continue the program and have more and more exploration of who I am myself through research, through teaching, through other academic activities, that and even including my personal experience, my personal life too. So I hope that as I go through the first semester, first year, and then years and years later, that I slowly will start to understand myself better, have a clear sense of who I am and how I would like to be seen as, and how I would like to be perceived as. There are, if you really love to talk about like identity, um, and we can continue to talk more about this topic. For me, right now, I just simply want to raise a question about how would you define yourself when you be as you begin and continue your PhD journey. And that would be very interesting to see how you define yourself now compared to how you see yourself in a year, in 2 years, 3 years, or at the end of your PhD program. And that's also the question I have for myself as well. Who I am and how and who I will become after the PhD program. Hold thoughts onto those questions, and maybe we can continue to explore together who we are as we continue our journey. And for now, I think that is all for now for today. I got to do some groceries. It's getting busy, I have to tell you. Oh my goodness. I just finished reading a lot of articles this whole day already. So I actually, and now I decided to dedicate some time to make a video. And then now I'm gonna go do some grocery. All right. So I hope if you're starting your PhD this fall, I wish you have a very good start. And if you overwhelmed, feel free to leave comment to just to rant or just to simply express your thoughts on your beginning. Um, and yeah, I think that would be it for today. Again, as always, Linz is here, and I would love to see you in the next video, and we will continue to chat more about our PhD journey. Um, for now, I hope you have a joyful moment. I'll see you then. Take care.